Welcome, everyone, to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man, the twice-a-week sports podcast where we talk sports and shoot the shit. I'm your host, TJ, and with me again, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. They say there's no shame in his game because he is always the same.
That's me.
And I apologize about the late start, ladies and gentlemen. This, again, is a twice-a-week podcast. It happens every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and usually every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But you may notice we're running a tad bit late today, Grumpy.
I'm shocked.
You're shocked?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
8 o'clock TJ time. It's about 8:30, right?
Oh, man, Grumpy. We're usually on time. Let me ask you this, Grump. We had a nice, I would say, heated discussion last week about Baker Mayfield and about the amazing Cleveland Browns and what we thought about, hey, were there going to be enough balls to go around to Odell Beckham Jr. there for the Los Angeles Rams? Robert Woods tore his ACL out for the season. So you have to figure, well, that's just kind of sorted itself out now.
We'll see how long it takes him to learn the offense.
Oh, stop.
They're not just, right? He's got to learn a couple of patterns. They asked their wide receivers to block. Is that something he's willing to do?
Yes, he blocks. Just remember those Josh Norman days, Grumpy.
I'm just saying that those are things to consider. That's all I'm saying. I wouldn't expect him to have some fantastic night tomorrow. I would not expect that.
I'm not either. I'm just saying it's bad news for the Rams, right? They were stocking all up. It was pretty obvious. Hey, we're trying to win the Super Bowl this season. Pretty obvious, right? They've given away first-round draft picks for I don't even know how many of the next seasons. I know definitely next year and the year after. You go ahead and make the big offseason there acquisition by bringing in Matt Stafford. You bring in guys like Von Miller, and you lose, one of those key pieces there in your wide receiver core, Robert Woods, after you go ahead and sign Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, Von Miller only cost him a second and a third. I think a second this year and a third next year. I think they are giving up a first this year as part of the Stafford trade, I do believe. But yes, they're all in it to win it for certain.
I'm just saying it, you talk about unfortunate breaks. Robert Woods obviously going out with a season-ending injury really hurts the depth there at wide receiver that was a position they felt like they had to address and they had to go ahead and add to by adding a guy like Odell Beckham Jr. They thought maybe that would go ahead and help suffice. But I tell you, as soon as you feel like you take one step forward, you take one step back sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know how much they really needed him as like the third wide receiver. Naturally with Woods out, hindsight being 2020, yeah, really good move. But I don't know if they needed him to be a third wide receiver because, as we know, he has issues if he doesn't get the ball. Now, he's still going to be second option. Cooper Kupp is the number one wide receiver on that team. That's not changing because Odell Beckham Jr. is there.
Well, still, there's plenty of ball to go around, right? That's a thing we were wondering about. How much ball is there to go around? Now, I'll tell you this, Grumpy. How does it feel, you think, for Baker? I mean, today, the Cleveland Browns looked miserable, my friend. They looked awful today.
Well, but his first drive, they scored a touchdown. Then the wheels kind of came off. New England just played a better game. They just played a better game than Cleveland today. It happens. And Baker Mayfield got hurt today. So,
come on. I'm sorry. It didn't matter what he was doing out there. He just wasn't playing well. What he hurt, Grumpy? I didn't watch the whole game.
Hurt his knee.
Okay. All I can tell you is this much. What do you have? Like 100? How many yards passing? Less than 100 yards passing today again? Yeah. So
I don't know. Like I said, I turned that game off early, and I watched Tampa Bay screw the pooch today.
Well, this is what I'm wondering, right? Without obviously Nick Chubb and without Kareem Hunt, Baker doesn't look all that sufficient back there, quarterback. And I wonder if we're going to see him continually be exposed now too, because whether you like him, love him, Odell Beckham Jr. did go ahead and open up space for other wide receivers as well, Grump.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, when your whole game plan is predicated on running the ball, they're running a run-first team. You're missing your top two running backs. You're going to struggle against a good team. And New England's a good team. Remember when they were missing a couple of weeks ago against Denver? They just barely won that game. Just barely won.
Well, speaking of Denver, Grump, did you see what happened today in that Denver game?
They lost. They got rolled.
Not that. We had talked this offseason about the quarterback battle, right, between Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. Remember we talked about that this offseason, Grump?
Neither one of them were good enough. Yes.
There's something that happened in today's game against the Philadelphia Eagles that I would argue perhaps was one of those game-changing events, game-changing plays, and Teddy Bridgewater, I never thought I'd ever see anything like this, but really showed his colors, and you just think to yourself, as a coach, when you're watching this back through and you're watching the film, I would say, Teddy, you're out. I'm sorry. The lack of heart. I'll let you watch the play. I'll set the scene for you. It's 4th and 1. They're giving the ball to Melvin Gordon, trying to get 1 yard. They're down by 7 points to the Philadelphia Eagles. And again, right now at this time period, the Denver Broncos are 5-4. They're still in contention there for a playoff position. And I'll let you go ahead and watch this clip, Grumpy. I'll see if you notice the same thing I did.
Melvin Gordon. Straight ahead.
Oh, the ball's out.
Coming out of there with the football is Darius Slay. Slay on the move to the outside. Blockers in front of him. Slay all by himself.
Did you see that, Grump?
Yeah. Give him a little nod. Have fun running.
No. I'll let you. No.
I saw it. He should have. Okay. He's a quarterback, though.
I don't give a shit if you're a quarterback or not. That is the most sorry, pathetic ass excuse that I've ever seen any player on the field do. This is like worse than kicker. If a kicker does this, I'm yanking him by the face mask on the sideline and say, what the fuck are you doing? You're just like a player. Like, look at this, Grump. I'm sorry. This is inexcusable in my opinion. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. Jesus. How do you not? Again, like I get it. You're 5-5 right now because you lost to the Eagles. This play right here, the extension that Melvin Gordon had in the fumble, and you not trying to make a tackle to stop him, I mean, I virtually ended the game for you. And I see this lack of effort. Oh, I don't want to get hit.
Well, it looks like his arms weren't moving. Maybe it didn't look. It looks like he was struggling to move his arms. Look, and they're down by his side. Even when he's turning and running, his arms are stuck to his side.
He didn't want to do shit. He didn't want to do anything. He was afraid of getting hit. Look at this. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. That's just.
I'm not going to question his courage. Considering the injuries he's had throughout his career, I'm not questioning his courage. Yes, he should have tried to make that tackle, but I'm not questioning his courage. He's been through a lot in his NFL career with catastrophic injuries. Could have almost lost his leg with that knee injury he had. I'm sorry. I'm not going to. I like Teddy Bridgewater. He should have tried to make a tackle. I think something's wrong with his arms. They're not moving.
There's nothing wrong. He doesn't. Okay, they're not moving because he doesn't even want to. He doesn't even want to give off the impression like he wanted to make a tackle. I'm sorry, man. I need to see more from you, Teddy Bridgewater. There, get it? Yeah, you've had injuries in the past. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when that ball was squirting loose in the Super Bowl against the Denver Broncos against the Carolina Panthers, and Cam Newton lets the ball roll away, and Von Miller's diving on it. Cam's about to jump on it. Goes, oh, never mind. I see. Looks like there's going to be a pile going on this ball. I'm going to avoid jumping on it. He jumps backwards. What the hell is this I'm seeing? I'm sorry. Every other freaking player on that team is busting their ass, getting hit every freaking down. You know what, Teddy? Sell the hell out for the team. Sell out. That's awful. You know what I do on that? After you see that, hey, Drew Lock's going to be the starter this week. If I see any type of that, you're gone. If I see anything like this, I'm not even questioning. We're not even thinking about re-signing. Right? I'd sit his ass straight on the bench. Hey, you want to send a message? I need more than that from you.
Here's what they should have done. They should have drafted a quarterback last offseason, like we mentioned. That's what they should have done, but they wanted to keep on going with these guys. I don't know what you're expecting from Teddy Bridgewater.
I'm expecting to see effort on this play. That's what I'm expecting to see, man.
Well, you saw effort, a lack of effort. Maybe it's just not the type of effort that you like.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, dude, when I see that from players, it drives me freaking nuts because every single offensive lineman, every defensive lineman, every linebacker, every single one of those hard workers out there in the field get hit and battered every damn play. And I see this. I'm sorry, man. Oh,
let me ask you a question. As a former player, well, look at that little cornerback. He kind of went down maybe Teddy didn't want to take the shot from 28 that he knew was coming.
Dive at his freaking legs, Teddy. Yeah. Dive at his legs, damn it. You're going to hit 28 in the legs, too.
He was buying. Good play. Now, let me ask you a serious question, though. I mean, you play the game at a high level. You watch film of that. What do you think about a player who does that?
Like, what? In the locker room, be like, what the was that?
So
and we would joke. We'd be like, what the fuck is this?
So you would call the player out
for certain.
Okay.
For certain. And you would joke around. You were going to get your ass lit every single time you said anything. Hey, buddy. Like anytime you going up there in line, it doesn't matter what the situation is. Anytime you could work this into conversation, him not selling out for the team, you would do so every single time you had a chance to. This right here, in my opinion, is egregious. It's egregious, man. Sorry.
He should have tried to make a tackle. All kidding aside, I'm going to take the other point of view, of course. So, like I said, I looks like maybe he got his arms. Even when he's running up, he's not moving his arms at all. Even he's coming up, maybe he's got some type of nerve damage in his arms. I don't know.
He was moving so quick. What happened is it gave him cold shoulders, so he couldn't reach out to make a tackle. And, they always say you want to lead with your hands and not your head. So he said, I can't move my arms, so I better not even bother making a tackle at all. Is that what your hypothesis is, Grump?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Oh, man. I'll be dead serious with you. If we saw a quarterback like that, there is no way in hell I'm fighting for a guy like that. No freaking way. I've never had a quarterback do something like that because it doesn't matter what quarterbacks didn't matter, right? Didn't matter if they were, hey, I'm transferred in from, I was an ACC Rookie of the Year. I was SEC Player of the Season. I was SEC Rookie of the Year. Didn't matter what accolades they had when they transferred in or what, every single one of those players sold out. I never had a situation where a player didn't buy in and didn't sell out like that. Alexander saying, good evening, Grump and TJ. Miss you guys last night. Coming to you from Cabin. What is that, Grump? Is that Cabin?
I think that's the Cabana Bay Beach Resort. Maybe that's at
Orlando. Took the kids to Disney.
Yeah. Excellent. Fantastic. Good time to go.
Some Disney gear here.
Good time to come before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving, before Christmas. Those are not super crowded times. Hope you had a great time.
Alexander's saying about the Rams, yeah, they give it up the next 2 years, first and second round picks.
Yeah, they're all in. That's
why I said losing a guy like Robert Woods, man, oh man, yikes. Alexander's saying Baker is trash. Here's the thing. He's a mediocre quarterback. And I think for you, grumpy old man, for saying, no, this is Odell Beckham's fault, man, he put up with that mediocre-ass quarterback for a long time. I don't think I've seen really any progression in Baker Mayfield since his rookie season.
You know what? All I've seen is a steady decline in Odell Beckham Jr.'s play. Has nothing to do with the quarterback. It's him. You'll see. Let's see if he rips Matt Stafford if he doesn't get the ball enough, like he did with Eli and like he did with Baker. It's a him issue. I'm sorry.
Okay, and let me ask you this. If we see Odell Beckham go out there, maybe not tonight or maybe not tomorrow, let's say, 2-3 weeks down there, once they start to establish some chemistry, we're seeing Odell Beckham Jr. consistently putting up 75+ yards a game, 5-6 receptions. I mean, like he's putting together solid work. What are you going to say then, Grump?
That's what you should do as a number 2 receiver. It probably should be a little bit better than that, honestly. Let's just see. I'm willing to wait and see.
I like this shirt, by the way, Grump. What is that?
Thank you. It's another shirt from John Petrone, East New Mexico University.
There it is.
Nice. I like them.
The Greyhounds. Absolutely.
That's right.
Brian P. BP. What is up, my friend? He's saying NFC East went undefeated today. Even the Giants didn't lose thanks to the bye.
Very true. They get to probably beat a woeful Tampa Bay team next week.
Here's the thing, ladies and gents, talking about the Giants. If they don't look freaking spectacular out of the bye week, and the Giants don't put together some sort of Herculean effort, the remainder Herculean effort towards the end of the season, you need serious change, right? Because how long have we heard for the Giants? Oh, well, they haven't had guy XYZ healthy. Barkley's been out. Oh, well, now Sterling Shepard was out. They just haven't had all the weapons available. Kadarius Toney's healthy. Sterling Shepard ideally should be healthy. Barkley's going to be healthy next week. All of your offensive weapons are healthy. If I don't see Daniel Jones coming out there looking like, hey, I should have been a first-round pick, I should have been a top 10 pick, you've got issues. He's not the answer.
Isn't number 8 your quarterback?
Daniel Jones, yeah.
Okay, so I don't care who else you have out there in wide receiver. Right? He's not the answer. A quarterback. Another team that had a chance to draft a quarterback this offseason didn't do it. Now you're stuck with what you got.
Alexander saying Teddy Bridgewater said, "Nah, I'm straight."
Yeah.
A Meatball Parm saying, "Not looking forward to tomorrow." Talking about, I'm sure, the Islanders facing off against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
I think we're going to come out and play. I think the Islanders are going to come out and play well against Tampa tomorrow. Not guaranteeing a win, but I think they'll come out and play better tomorrow.
And then Alexander saying, "Hey, Grump, TJ, how about them Dolphins?"
That was a really impressive win against Baltimore. Baltimore is a flawed team, though. They're one-dimensional. They're just one-dimensional on offense. But kudos to the Dolphins. It was a miserable day. It was rainy. But kudos to them. I mean, I thought they played an extremely good game. They kept Lamar Jackson under wraps. They were able to move the ball even with Noodles at quarterback. When he came in for Brissett, he did a good job. So if you're a Dolphins fan, you had to be happy beating one of the top teams in the AFC.
Alexander saying, "No, it didn't rain. He was at the game."
But
But
field looked like it was rained on.
That being said, I just, I've always talked about Tua's compete level. We've always talked about it. We've always questioned it. Jacoby Brissett gets injured, and then Tua's able to come in and it looks okay. And here's the thing. When I watch things like that, this is a question I also have about Kyler Murray. What's Kyler Murray's compete level? Second week now in a row that he was a game time decision. I can't play. I wonder. He's a little different for Arizona. Arizona looks like, hey, they're going to be a lock for the playoffs, and a little different for the Dolphins, right? They look like they're not going to make the playoffs, and they would have to have some sort of miraculous effort in order to make the playoffs. But you see some quarterbacks that will go out there absolutely beaten the hell out of, and they will do anything they can to strap up and contribute for the team. And some quarterbacks say, I'm feeling about 85%. Let me take this week off. So it was a good win by the Dolphins. They kept Lamar Jackson under wraps. That Baltimore Ravens team, I've definitely got questions about. That's for certain. I think they're doing some soul searching this week as well, but a hell of a win by the Dolphins.
The AFC is really weak this year. It's a really weak conference this year. Kansas City is nothing. They're a loss waiting to happen. Buffalo, all right, they played the Jets and beat them this week. They should be the de facto favorites. Tennessee struggled against New Orleans today. Cleveland has fallen apart. Cincinnati, they're Cincinnati. They're the Bungles. San Diego loses to Minnesota today. I mean, it's like everybody, with the exception of Tennessee, who I think is 8-2 now. It's like everybody's 6-4. Like the whole league is 6-4.
I was about to say, a lot of those teams I was expecting to come away with wins today. I really did not expect the Buccaneers to lose to the Washington football team.
I'm not surprised.
And
I am so not surprised with their loss to Washington. They got this. They have the dumbest coaching staff in the history of football, without a doubt. You got the head guy is just a clown. What a buffoon that Bruce Arians is. They had the bye week last week, right? They shit the bed against New Orleans just before the bye week. Gave that game away. Sloppy penalties, turnovers all over the place. And what's the first play that they do? False start. Penalties all game. Dropping the ball. Defense. Okay. You have to know how bad Washington's offense is. And Tampa Bay let them have a 10.5-minute drive to end the game today. You could not get off the field. It was the longest drive in the NFL this season against a team that's maybe the worst offensive team in the league. And you let them drive the ball on you.
I won't say worst offensive team in the league. I definitely put them as bottom half, though. There's a lot of really bad offensive.
Bottom 3, bottom 4. And that's being generous.
I mean, they're not great. Chase Young tears his ACL today. There were a lot of injuries to big name players this week too. And you just think to yourself, I'm like, oh man, I hate to see that for Chase Young. He's definitely way far off of the 15 sack performance this year. I projected he only had 1.5 sacks. So
guess what? He's not getting any more either.
I'll eat a little crow sandwich on that one. That's for certain. But yeah, I'll tell you, I was shocked by the Washington football team's performance against the Buccaneers. I was shocked by a lot of performances across the league this week. A lot of teams lost that I thought were going to win, that have great records that have been playing good football. Now, Alexander brings up a point. Buffalo has not beaten a team with a winning record. Now, I'll tell you, Josh Allen, we were opining about this, right? Well, we see Josh Allen take a little bit of a step back. Now he's going to be playing in stadiums that are packed with fans. A guy originally from Wyoming, played in very, very small venues. The first year he really burst onto the scene is during the COVID year where there's no fans in the stand. There's no such thing as a hostile environment, right? Starts getting some hostile environments thrown out there. I think he's taken a little bit of a step back to reality this season.
Yeah. I think their offense as a whole has struggled. Their offensive line has had injuries. They haven't looked good at times. Defensively, they're stout. But you got to, the running back situation is a jumble. You have Singletary and Moss back there. No one has taken the lead on that. I don't know. If I'm a Buffalo fan, I'm disappointed because I thought for certain they would take that next step. It seemed like they were ready to take that next step, but they haven't done it.
I want to talk about, right? You mentioned this team a little bit. I want to talk to you, grumpy old man, about Cam Newton's return here to the NFL. And I want to go ahead and show this right here. We've got Sunday Night Football on NBC tweeting about Cam Newton in his debut. 3 for 4 passing with 8 passing yards and a touchdown. And he had 3 carries for 14 yards and a touchdown. All of Twitter, all of Facebook, everybody is having an epileptic attack. They're in hysteria about, Cam Newton, baby, he's back. Cam Newton's back. And all I want to say to those individuals who have and share that sentiment, I just want you to say, pump the freaking brakes a little bit. The guy had 26 total yards of offense today, and all they keep telling me is like, but he had 2 touchdowns. Yeah, it'd be like telling me that every single time Taysom Hill, when Drew Brees was the starting quarterback for the Saints, and Taysom Hill would run a little gadget play for a touchdown of 3 yards, that the Saints fans are going, Taysom Hill, the return of the king. I'm sorry, man. Pump the freaking brakes.
Yeah, I'd like to tell all the Cam Newton fans, keep your hands out of your pants. I know you want to pleasure yourself right now, but like I said, I watched him, and the only pass I saw today, because that's our game, right? Being Carolina, that stadium right down the street for me, and I saw the one pass I saw him through was typical Cam Newton, just that terrible throwing motion he has because of the shoulder injuries, and he throws it behind the guy. Luckily, the ball wasn't picked. I did not watch the game because it was over already at that point in time. But I really thought he would be more, more humble after what he went through and how poorly he played last year, how he was cut this year because he just wasn't good enough. But nope. There he is celebrating. I'm back.
And I'll let you watch this. Now, this right here, right? There is no doubt about it. Cam Newton is a very polarizing figure. You either love him or you hate him. I think you're right. I think last year would have been a very humbling experience. The guy threw 8 touchdowns in the entire season. 15 starts last year for the Patriots, 8 touchdowns. He was throwing a touchdown every other game and had 10 picks. You feel like he would be a little bit more humbled by the experience. He would be a man on a mission, but he would be a little more humbled. I want you to watch this play, and I want you to watch what transpired.
3 days ago, McCaffrey split out wide to the right. Newton takes the snap, and he is in for a Panthers touchdown.
Well, there's a penalty. Why do you have to take your helmet off? It's all about me. That's why.
Okay.
It's all about me.
That is, yeah, he did get a penalty for taking his helmet off, but I'll let you watch. I'm back. I'm going to let you know one thing. I can promise you this much. When the Panthers are getting their asses kicked across the freaking planet, because newsflash, the Panthers are a good defensive team, freaking anemic on the offensive side of the ball, unless the Christian McCaffreys are doing everything, they're anemic on the offensive side of the ball, right? Your best wide receiver option is DJ Moore, who in all honesty, is a really good, or he's a really good number 3. He's a good number 2. He's a good number 2 on a good team. If you're on a stacked team, if you're on a team like the Rams were, and he got traded somehow to the Rams, he would be the number 3 behind Robert Woods. That being said, he's a good number 2.
Yes.
And you've got Robbie Anderson, who's a good number 3. You don't have a real primary target at wide receiver. You don't really have any tight end. Your offensive line is hideous. And Christian McCaffrey's the only thing there. Quarterback, you have a vacant quarterback position, right? It's just the Christian McCaffrey's on offense. I can promise you that clip right there, people are loving it. Oh, man, Cam's back. Cam Newton's back. I just want you guys to pump the brakes and taper your expectations. The guy had 26 total yards of offense today. 26.
Think about the contract that he got signed to. $10 million, $4.5 guaranteed, and $1.5 in roster bonuses. This is a guy you could have got him for vet minimum, and you just blew your wad on this guy who cannot play anymore. I'm sorry. He cannot play anymore. He's checked down Charlie at this point in his career. Can't throw the ball down the field with any accuracy. What you saw on that touchdown, that's what he does best. Run the ball out of that formation. That's all he can do. He's never going to beat you throwing the ball. He's never been able to beat you just throwing the ball. He's always been that dual threat that made him a fantastic football player and a spectacular athlete, but not a great quarterback. Never has been, never will be.
I tell you, man.
I just think for a guy, I'm back. What are you going to be saying? What are you going to be saying when you lose a game? Are you not going to answer any questions like after you lost the Super Bowl?
Here's my thing, right? When I see I'm back, you know what I'm expecting? I'm expecting an effort, right? This was in the first freaking quarter, 5 minutes in. And maybe he's got a whole bunch of pent-up anger and aggression. How dare everybody sleeping on me, the wonderful, magnificent Cam Newton. If I'm hearing a quarterback say something like that, I'm expecting this to be at the end of the game, maybe in the fourth quarter of a tight game, after Cam Newton would have thrown for 400 passing yards and 5 touchdowns and had 75 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. I'm talking about he would have to play like a man possessed for me to be like, holy crap, this guy's back. This is his first freaking play, and he ran for a 2-yard touchdown run. And he's like, I'm back. I'm like, bro, calm the freak down. It's a 2-yard touchdown, a 2-yard rushing touchdown. What? I mean, like, oh, Jesus, I'm sorry. And everybody all the fans, the Carolina fans want to be excited, right? I'm glad. Have this little moral victory.
They're delusional.
There's no way in hell that they are winning, or there's no way in hell, number one, they're making the playoffs, and no way in hell that they're having a winning record here this season. No way. I'd be shocked.
The fans are delusional. Remember, I live amongst them. I mean, they're thinking, oh, Cam's back. I'm like, yeah, Cam can't play anymore. Well, we know he can't, but he's back. Maybe he can turn it around. Where have we heard those type of talks before? Maybe we can bring a guy who's finished and he can play on our team because when he's with us, he's great. Where have we heard those comments before? And guess what happens? It doesn't work out because the player can't play anymore.
Yeah, I'm sorry, he's finished. It's just he's finished. We do have a few comments here, Grum. Alexander is saying, yeah, they haven't looked the same since the bye. The Dolphins held them to 3 points in the first half, talking about the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, they have. They've struggled offensively. Today they came out of a little bit, but they even started slow against the Jets. Then they picked it up in the second half. I picked Buffalo to go to the Super Bowl this year, so I'm going to ride that horse until the wheels come off. Or ride that bandwagon till the wheels come off.
Alexander also saying, oh my God, Cam is so annoying. Like, bro, you haven't played a professional football game, in about a year and a half? It's been about half a year. And oh Jesus, man. I don't get the I don't even know what to call it. I don't get I understand a chip on your shoulder. I don't get the hubris. I'm sorry. I don't. And then Alexander also saying here, Chris McCaffrey got hurt again. I think they had him checked for a concussion protocol. He was cleared to go back in, but I mean, the game was out of hand by then anyway. But here's the thing. Christian McCaffrey's a guy who is injury prone. He's a guy that I don't think you could rely on going forward long term. The guy, that's what happens. His rookie year, I don't think he saw a whole bunch of action. His second year, he was getting the ball. They were killing him. That was when Cam Newton was still with the Panthers. They were killing Christian McCaffrey his second year, giving him runs ad nauseum, dump off passes, but he had like almost 100 receptions and 300 rushing attempts. They killed that man. And now they ran him to the ground. You're right. And now you're going to be in a time period where he's always going to be injury prone the rest of his career. Certain running backs are injury prone. Saquon Barkley is an injury prone running back.
Well, I mean, running backs don't last very long. It's just the physicality that the position is. I mean, this guy was getting like 30 touches a game. Even today, he had 23 touches, right? 95 yards rushing, 66 through the air. I mean, 10 receptions. And it's like, he's beat up. I mean, every year he's got an injury. He's always going to be injury prone. Do you think they regret signing him to that mega deal? It's just once again proof that you really don't give running backs a second huge contract after their first one because they're just expendable. There's so few that play 10 years in the league and are still effective. And Christian McCaffrey just not one of those guys. He's a little bit slighter of frame, and when he gets that many touches, he's going to get dinged up. Just that's just physics.
The running backs that last a long time are all big. They're big. They're much larger. They're bigger, bulkier backs. When I think about the guys who last a long time, I think about the Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson's not a slight back. He's a big physical specimen. Your Derrick Henrys, he's a big physical specimen. Again, now he's got his foot injury. I'll be interested to see how much tread he's got left on the tires. You look at Mark Ingram. He's one of those guys that lasts a long time. And even Frank Gore, not tall per se, but they're big and stout. They're wide running backs. They could take a punishment because they're built. They're usually delivering more punishment. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that all pans out. I just don't. I will just say, Panthers fans, taper a little bit of the expectation. 26 yards total offense today and 2 touchdowns. All right, let's not get it confused. That's for certain. That also being said, Grump.
I mean, PJ Walker he played the majority of the game, the vast majority of the game.
Well, people, and again, I'll agree, people were saying that, right, this is Cam Newton was signed 3 days ago. He had to relearn the offense, the whole 9 yards. I'll give him a little bit of excuse on that.
I'm not giving him any excuse.
This is so I will.
So it's the same offense that he run for how long? They haven't changed. They really haven't changed much.
Matt Rule. I mean, when did Rule come in?
It was after, but here's the thing. It's the same basic offense. Christian McCaffrey left, Christian McCaffrey right, Christian McCaffrey up the middle. That's their offense.
Oh, man.
That is their offense. It's very simplistic.
I want to talk to you about this. You know how we talk about toting the company line? Now, the NFL released this video explaining to why they believe that Cassius Marsh, his taunting penalty, was correct on Monday Night, Grumpy. And I want you, I've been very critical. I've always believed that these taunting calls have been ridiculous and ludicrous, absolutely bullshit. And I just want you to listen to this man's explanation and tell me if this just sounds like a member of the media cartel just finding a way to explain anything that the referees do, and they will say, "Oh, absolutely, we agree with that." I want you to watch this, Grump.
In Chicago versus Pittsburgh, Bears number 59 is penalized for taunting. He takes several steps toward the Pittsburgh bench, posturing toward their sideline. Taunting is a point of emphasis to promote sportsmanship and respect for opponents. This was recommended by the competition committee and coaches. In Chicago,
not a word was said. As you can see, right? This is what I want to look at. He's walking over there, looking at them, and then starts backpedaling. He maintains a 5-yard cushion between him and the member of the Steelers. It doesn't say a word, and he catches a 15-yard taunting penalty for this. I want to get your opinion on this, Grump.
Number one, here's the thing you have to remember: Cassius Marsh is a jerk. Everyone knows he's a jerk.
Oh, here we go.
Then he goes and he bumps the referee. He runs right past the referee and bumps him after doing that. I don't care. Don't do it. Why did he have to look at their sideline? Could he not have just gone to his own sideline? Why did he feel like he needed to strut his stuff? No problem at all with that.
So now, guess what? You're gonna be interested to watch this one. He didn't bump the referee. Watch again. He does not bump the referee. I want you to watch the referee.
Yeah, watch this again.
The referee looks at him and backs into him. What do you mean he bumps the referee? The referee backs into him. What the hell is that bullshit? He's not changing his movement. The referee looks at him and
let's see where the referee. Let's see. He's right at the line of scrimmage.
He's
right
looking.
there.
Hold on. He's looking at Cassius Marsh. Let's go super slow mo, Grumpy, for you. He's looking.
Look at Cassius Marsh is closing in on the ref.
Hold on.
He's lowering the shoulder.
No, he's not. Stop. You're ridiculous. He's avoiding him.
I'm going to run the line.
Stop. What the fuck? I'm sorry. What the hell is he doing? He's backing into him. He is going and stepping backwards. I want you to watch this front foot. Look where it is. It is moving back towards the player.
You know what he did? He drew some contact and he got flagged for it.
It's almost like one of those.
It was a really smart play by the referee, in my opinion.
The ref is ridiculous. Honestly, when you see stuff like that, the NFL is such a.
Here's the thing. If he hadn't been a showboat to start with, they never would have thrown that flag, and the Bears would have won the game. But he had to be a me guy. It's all about me. Look at me. I'm going to show you up, Pittsburgh. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. You get what you get.
That's ridiculous. Honestly, this right here, but they already did find it. You already know.
Grow up, Marsh. Grow up, you loser.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. This right here, backing into the player, then using that. Honestly, you know what it seems like? Maybe this official had some money on the game. That's the only thing I could really think.
Reggie Jackson did that in the World Series once. He did that when they were trying to make a double play. He just kind of turned his hip, put his hip, and hit the ball.
You know what? Actually, this is a great point, Hodas. He says, watch the ref. He clutches the yellow cloth before the guy even touches him. Great point. Great point. And here it is. Alexander also saying, Grumpy, it barely touched him. Honestly, that's a ticky-tack penalty. I want you to watch this, Grump. Let's look at this official. He's grasping for his flag already.
That's because he had taunted. He had just finished.
Hold on. No. This guy had his back towards the play. And trust me, we got a nice little funny meme after that one. This guy was not watching. He had it back towards the play, right? And then what we see, hold on a second. Cassius Marsh is kind of walking a little close to me. Here we go. I'm gonna hold my flag like an old lady clutches her purse in an elevator, because if I even feel threatened, I'm gonna yank out that pepper spray and spray somebody that says hello. So he's gripping onto that flag. He's got the Colbert clutch on this flag, Grumpy. And he said, hold on a second.
He's like, watch it, ref. I'm gonna run your ass over.
Marsh is avoiding me. He's going to the sidelines. Screw this, baby. We got to go ahead and find a way I can bump into him and I can throw this flag. It is ridiculous that this ref, don't know his name, should never officiate another game in his life. This is freaking sorry. It's sorry.
I think he should ref every single Cassius Marsh game. That's what I think. Here's the thing. This was a continuation from the taunt on the sideline. He insisted on taunting. He didn't use his brain.
He did not.
Is that him right there? Scroll down. Is that him right there? No, yes. Down. That's him, right?
Yes, that's him.
Yeah. Like I said, what a loser. What a loser.
Here it
Get
is.
a haircut, hippie.
Here it is, Grumpy. I want you to watch this. I feel like you would enjoy this, Grump. And if you don't, I know the fans of the show will.
Welcome to the NFL, where we think taunting is worse than permanent brain damage. If you look right here, Mr. Marsh makes a great sack on Ben Roethlisberger, which is absolutely repulsive because we had the Steelers -7. He then made eye contact with the Steelers bench.
We had the Steelers -7, Grump. We talk about, right? They're in bed with gambling. They're in bed with all these gambling sites. We got the Steelers -7. Let's continue. What? Oh, I can only imagine what that would do for some of our issues.
Assuming I didn't see it because he was facing the other way. He then bumps into me, which is the only contact I've ever felt since my wife left me. So I threw the flag up like my divorce papers. Welcome.
I figured you'd get a little kick out of that.
Yeah, like I said, I have no sympathy for Cassius Marsh. None. You got to remember, he's an absolute tool bag. Without a doubt.
I don't care if guys are tool bags or not. That official for thinking that I'm the law here. Anything I say goes. The game
should have went over towards the Pittsburgh sideline.
You know what it's like?
Never should have done it.
You know what it's like? Give me a sec, Rob. You know what it's like? It's like Angel Hernandez going, calling strikes when the ball's way outside, thinking the game is about him. Guess what, official? The game's not about you. Sit your ass in the corner. You just make absolute calls when things are terrible out there on the field. Other than that, let the players play.
Should have been a little bit smarter, Cassius Marsh. You didn't have to run 25 yards towards Pittsburgh sideline. Didn't have to do it. Didn't have to do it. You chose to do it. You chose it. He chose to do that. Bam, flag him. Wham. Hit him with the flag.
You understand that the playing field's only 25 yards from side to side. So he didn't run 25. It was more like 10 yards. It's more like 10 yards. He made the sack on the hash, and he went to the other hash. It was more like 10 yards.
He went past the other hash. Here's the thing. He went out of his way. Maybe if he was a fighter and it was round 15 in the olden days and he'd taken a beating, he didn't know what corner his guy was in, maybe then, but he doesn't take any contact. So he knew what he was doing. I got no problem with it all. You know what? Grow up. Use your head. I have no sympathy for anybody who taunts the opponent. None.
He didn't taunt the opponent. He didn't say a word.
Yeah, he was. Please.
Everyone knew what he was doing. He looked at him the wrong way. So that justifies a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for taunting. He looked at him the wrong way. You have got to be freaking kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. You know what? Honestly, I'm not advocating for violence. I'm not. But I'll tell you one thing. If there was just some inadvertent, like you're kind of going towards the sidelines and a tackle's kind of there, I have no problem at all with a guy losing a footing, just absolutely tattooing a line ref. No problem at all, man. I'll tell you, some of these officials think that the game is about them, and it's hard to fathom. It's hard to fathom how deluded they could be, because that right there is a guy thinking, I am the game. Guess what, Cassius Marsh? I didn't like the way you stood up from that. I don't like the way you think that you're big hot shit. And even though I'm 5'10", don't have an athletic speck in my body, I'm going to remind you that I control what goes on here in the field, not you. Even though people pay money to watch you out here on the field, people pay to sit here in the seats to watch money. I can control anything. I can make your life a hell. You know what it's like? It'd be like a guy like in a prison, and the prison warden didn't like the way he looked at him, didn't like the way he was chewing gum. So he starts, he gets his prison buddies to beat the hell out of him with billy goat sticks. Ridiculous.
Oh, billy goat sticks.
Clubs. I don't care. Billy clubs. Doesn't matter, Grump.
They just use tasers on him. Here's the thing. If you hadn't committed the crime, you wouldn't be in jail.
Alexander said, Grump, that cost Chicago the game. It did.
Oh, well, maybe they should get smarter players. Like I said, you know what this is what the referee probably said.
Right.
You know what, Cassius Marsh? You should have got an education when you went to college instead of drinking all the time, because I'm in charge here. You're not, and I'm way smarter than you. You see how I fooled you? You got what you got.
You're ridiculous, Grump. You're ridiculous. Anyway, so here we go. Right. Hodez said, yep, getting ready to throw it sky high. For certain he did. He threw that as high as he could. How dare that happen? And
that's all part of my
his name is Blake Coleman.
That's all part of my let the referees taunt the players thing. You want taunting to go on? Have the refs taunt them too. Yeah! Holding! Wham! Number 74. Hee-hoo! Send him back 10. I'd love to see that. I want you to watch here. Now, this is Cassius Marsh's response. I want you to listen here for 28 seconds.
The one thing that I will say is, on my way to the sideline, I got hip checked by the ref, and it's pretty clear.
He's a liar.
Okay. I'm gonna let you know something. You see how it's really, really low volume? It means I've got to crank your volume all the way up. So give me a second, Grump. Don't interrupt. So okay.
By the ref, and it's pretty clear. If I were to do that to a ref or even touch the ref, we get kicked out of the game and possibly suspended and fined. So I just think that was incredibly inappropriate. And that's all I'll say about that.
I agree, Grump. I agree. Okay. I don't know how you could see that any other way.
Okay. He wasn't hip checked by the ref.
For certain he was, dude. That is exactly
okay. He was not hip checked by the ref.
If you're skating on the ice, first of all, the other guy and you hip check him, you go ahead and skate your back into the board so you can get a perfect hip check. He looked at him, eyed him up, and then backed into him. What?
Cassius Marsh saw the ref, ran right at him. He could have avoided him easily. Nope. Took a beeline to him, and he wanted to hit him. He really wanted to brush him. I'm going to show you, ref, because I'm Cassius Marsh. Look at my haircut. Yeah, look at me. I'm Cassius Marsh. I'm glad. What kind of stupid outfit is he wearing? That's a parka from the 1970s.
Who cares? It's cold in Chicago. It's already snowing up there in Wisconsin. It's already showing. It's snowing up there in Wisconsin, grumpy old man, for the Green Bay game. I'll tell you, I was shocked by the call. I think it's ridiculous. It's ludicrous. That stuff has got to stop. Well, here you go. Grumpy, let's talk about how some of the rules are called for certain players, not called for others. You're going to be interested to see here this one, Grumpy. This just happens to be one of those. I think that might actually, you could make an even argument for taunting, but the referees just magically don't see this one, because I'll let you watch it. And thanks, Alexander, for sending this here. Now, this right here, grumpy old man, is Justin Jefferson. This right here is Keenan Allen towards the bottom portion of our screen. He caught the pass. He gets the first down. He's walking towards Keenan Allen. I want you to watch this, Grump.
And they got turned away there, but you see Justin Jefferson flipped the ball to Keenan Allen on the sidelines. Like, yo, bro, I hope you're watching. Keenan Allen looking right back at him.
He should have been flagged.
Just unimpressed. Like, hey, young pup, what was your name?
See,
here's what I would do.
Here's the thing, right? You will get, they'll say something like this and they'll make it like, oh yeah, it's no big deal. But these will be the same exact people and the same exact announcers. When Cassius Marsh would do that, they'll say, this is just no room for it in the game. You can't be doing it. It's so disrespectful to the other team. And they'll be joking around, acting like this is no issue. They just go ahead and they say, oh, okay, this is something we could talk about. Anything that happens out there on the field, I will agree with. Oh, absolutely. Excellent. The refs made a fantastic call. Oh yeah, that was not pass interference. Oh yeah, I don't think that was a fumble. Anything they do on the field and the refs call, they will 100% agree with.
He should have been flagged for taunting. And you know what? If I was San Diego or Los or whatever they are, the Chargers,
Los Angeles Chargers.
Yep. They're still always going to be San Diego to me. So when the Chargers next time out there, I'm going right at that guy's knees, or I'm going after their quarterback's knees. How do you like that, Jefferson? How do you like that, baby? Because you know what? That's what happens. Eventually, you're going to see violence go back the other way. That's why they're doing it now. They want to stop that because the violence is getting out of hand, the cheap shots. That's why they want to stop it. That is the reason. You might not think so, but that's the reason why. And if they could if the players could learn, some of them learn, a lot of them don't, but if they could, then that would all be out of the game.
Ridiculous. You grumpy are.
What if somebody would take it off the helmet and bash the shit out of Jefferson on the sideline? I would have been cool with that, actually.
That's actual assault. So
That's
you would have been facing criminal charges there.
Nah,
Actual assault. Yeah, you would.
What happens on the field stays on the field.
You have no idea what you're talking about. I know you just want to be
woo.
Ridiculous. Meatball Parm says we need an emergency show if Bailey gets traded at the deadline.
I guarantee if Josh Bailey gets traded, we will have an emergency show.
It doesn't matter what day it is. Could be
It
on.
doesn't matter if it's deadline before.
Doesn't matter if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll have. I don't even know what we'll title this. It's coming. Well, I don't
Happy
know.
days are here again.
maybe they would trade Josh Bailey and then they'll just bring up Simon Holmstrom. Oh God, wouldn't that be typical? Oh man. And then Alexander said, on a funny note, you got to make Grump laugh with that pick that Tyrod Taylor threw, Grumpy. Did you happen to see the pick, Grump, I'm talking about?
I did not. They when was the last time that Houston played?
This was
on bye this week?
I think it was just Tyrod Taylor.
And no point.
Oh, Grumpy. Now this was Tyrod Taylor. I'll go ahead and bring this up on screen. Now here's the thing, right? When we're talking about the Houston Texans, they're miserable. So I'm not really too shocked by this, but I'll let you watch it, Grumpy.
Still time to go here in the first half. Tyrod Taylor, watch this play. 2nd and 18, scrambles to the left. Looks like he's just going to throw it away out of bounds. He throws it, but there's a defender there on the sideline. It's Jerome Baker, a linebacker, number 55. I don't know what Tyrod was doing. Watch, he's just trying to get rid of it. And he was trying to throw it out of bounds. Maybe a player hit his arm as he was releasing it.
I guess he said he reestablished.
Jerome was also standing out of bounds and then came back inbound. There's a lot to sort through here on top of a penalty flag that was dropped.
I'll tell you one thing. Tyrod Taylor is not the answer in Houston either.
No, well, they didn't have any first-round picks to draft a quarterback, so I can't get on them for that.
Yeah,
or second-round picks.
They know the issue, and the issue is lack of quarterback, lack of offensive threat. I mean, the Houston Texans are in for a long rebuild.
It's a franchise that's in a shambles, honestly. It was shambles.
I don't disagree.
There's a lot of teams like that. Detroit today, right?
Detroit. Okay, think about this. How the hell did Pittsburgh manage not to beat Detroit?
It must have been a great speech by Dan Campbell at half or before overtime when they missed field goals.
That kicker missed two. When he missed he missed 2 field goals and an extra point.
Yeah, terrible.
God Almighty!
And you wonder why your team's owing forever. I mean, you got to. Dan Campbell, I hope you enjoyed your 1 year as head coach of the Detroit Lions. You'll be gone. I hope you got yourself some nice swag. I mean, I do love their logo. I love their color scheme, but they're gone. Everyone should be gone off of there.
Well, here we go. We've got a little college football playoffs action, Grump. So, not as much moving and shaking as you would expect this week, right? Michigan took care of Penn State at Happy Valley late in the game. Oklahoma lost to Baylor in Waco, and everything else pretty much remains status quo. But I want to show you what they have there as a chance to make the college football playoffs as of right now. And I want you to take a look at these percentages and think, hey, Grumpy, do you think this kind of aligns with an accurate take?
I don't know how Notre Dame is that high, honestly. Alabama's going to have to win out to make the championship. They're going to have to win out. They're not going to take a 2-loss team over somebody who's 1 loss or no loss, even though I think Cincinnati is a fraud. If they're undefeated and Alabama loses a second game this year, Cincinnati's going to get in. And after Texas A&M lost again this week, that makes the loss to the win from Texas A&M where they beat Alabama. That makes Alabama look worse, if you know what I'm saying, right? Because now they have multiple losses, 3 losses, I believe. So even though they beat Alabama, that's not a good loss for them. Ohio State or Michigan, one of the 2 of them will be in there. I guess they're looking at the numbers because Ohio State is, I think, the home team against Michigan this year. Did Oregon lose again?
Oregon won. And this was released. Grumpy man, I'll just show you where this is. This is released by ESPN College Football. This is where they put their latest college football playoff odds. So
that don't mean shit.
I'm just here's the thing. People talk about the odds of how they can make it in because this is I feel like one of the first years where there actually could be a little bit of a different mix-up and a different viewpoint in the college football playoffs. Every single year, I mean, it's mostly the same casting character. You always have Alabama, you always have Clemson, you usually always have Ohio State. You maybe have Notre Dame sprinkled in every once in a while. Sometimes you have Oklahoma. This year, you're looking at, okay, you could have Cincinnati squeeze in. You could have Georgia's also usually in the college football playoffs, but you could have Michigan squeak in. You might even see an Ohio State and Oregon and Michigan State. It's a different. I think this year's a little bit of a different year, and I don't know, Grump. I'm kind of getting excited. I'm getting excited.
Georgia will make it. Alabama cannot afford to lose again. I'm just going to flat out tell you they cannot afford 2 losses because if they don't even win conference and they have 2 losses, they're not going to be top 4. Ohio State or Michigan. I'm going to rule out Michigan State since they lost to Michigan. They should be favorites in there.
No. Michigan. No. Michigan State beat Michigan.
Okay.
Michigan State lost though the week after, I believe, to Purdue. Purdue lost to Ohio State this week.
But Michigan beat a tough Penn State team this week in Happy Valley. It's going to come down to Ohio State and Michigan. I figure one of those 2 will win conference. That team will make the playoffs. I don't get the love for Notre Dame just because they're Notre Dame. Who have they beaten this year?
They look at them. They beat Purdue.
Purdue sucks. Purdue sucks.
They beat Wisconsin, who's Wisconsin's ranked.
Oh, okay.
Wisconsin's a top 20 team. Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of love going around for the Big Ten this year. A lot of love's going around to the Big Ten. That's all I'm going to say. You look at it, right? You're Penn State with a 3-loss team. Now they're 4 losses. 3 losses. They were still in the top 25 last week. Now they got 4 losses. They've kind of bumped out. But, you look at it, Wisconsin's in the top 25. You look at it, Michigan's in the top 25. Michigan State, and Ohio State are all in the top 10. Purdue was in the top 25 before their loss to Ohio State this week.
So killed by Ohio State.
Yeah. But I'm just saying they had a lot of teams in the top 25. There's a lot of love going around to, the Big Ten. And they look at it, right? They beat the hell out of Wisconsin. And that's, I think, that's their marquee win. If you're talking about Notre Dame, it's against Wisconsin. I don't think necessarily it's that big of a win, but.
Yeah, like I said, this is just something they just throw up because it means nothing. All that matters is what we see on Tuesday, right? That's when the next round of the college football playoffs rankings come out. That's all that really matters.
Is it on Monday or is it on Tuesday?
I believe it's on Tuesdays.
Okay, I'll have to look that up. That being said, Grump, we talked a lot about football. Now, I want to bring up a comment John Tortorella made about Connor McDavid and about the NHL. And I want to get your take on it. It's a little bit of a longer clip, but I want to get your take on it, Grump. Now, because there's a few things I want to discuss. I'm not gonna precursor this. We're gonna talk about it. I got a few points I want to bring up from it.
Great to play. What's the next step though to becoming a winning player, a playoff?
They're talking about Connor McDavid, who is, the sixth fastest player to hit 600 points in an NHL career. They're talking about, hey, he's got 9 goals, 14 assists. He's doing fantastic, and the hot start for the Oilers.
Winning player, because you're not going to get the calls you do in the regular season. He didn't last year, and that was a bit of an issue.
Yeah, and he complained about it a little bit. He wasn't getting the calls. I quite honestly, and I hope I say it correctly, just shut up.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it. I do think he has to change his game a bit. Not turn into a checker, obviously, but
right.
He's talked about culture. He's talked about standard. He's talked about winning. You're not going to outscore. You're not just going to fill the net during playoffs and outscore teams.
Mm-hmm.
You have to play on the other side of the puck. You have to have that business type attitude of nothing's going to bother me, no matter how you're going to check me. Don't talk about it. Just play hard, play through it. But the other side of the puck is that important too, come playoff time. I think he's learning. Tip's going to have to get that whole group. If they're talking about a Stanley Cup, they're all going to have to play a little bit a different way, not just try to outscore teams.
There is motivation because you never want to be the guy that is the best hockey player in the world that didn't win a Stanley Cup. Marcel Dion, you could see how much it affected him when that was being talked about with him. It's something you don't want.
Well, it took Mario a long time.
Yep.
Sakic a long time. It took Yzerman a long time.
Yep.
Well, just early on here, Ovechkin. I didn't think they were ever going to win in Washington, but Ovi changed his game a bit, and they end up winning a cup.
Want to ask you, a lot of online community is upset. It's upset, grumpy old man, regarding the comments that John Tortorella has made. Right? You tell the best player in hockey just to shut up about that. They think that this reveals a deeper lying issue with the NHL, that the same calls that are calls all year during the regular season are not calls in the playoffs. And if they were consistent with how they officiated games, that you wouldn't need to tell him to shut up because they wouldn't have any issues. Now, Grump, I want to get your take on this.
That is 100% correct. It's always been like that. They call the regular season is called differently than the playoffs are. They did they used to have, Coach's Corner with Don Cherry. They have something else on Hockey Night in Canada now. And I just happened to watch it yesterday. And he was tripped. McDavid was tripped, obviously tripped. And Dave Tippett, who's a coach, actually came out and said something about it. And the whole thing is, and everyone on the panel agreed, you have to call those penalties. And just because a player is better doesn't mean that they should get less calls. It reminds me of when Lawrence Taylor played for the New York Giants. He was so good that they couldn't stop him without holding him. But it wasn't called. And it always drove me crazy as a Giants fan, is because, hey, it's a rule, call it. And you shouldn't try to dumb it down to make it where it's more competitive for everybody. When you have a truly elite talent, you should, I'm not saying reward the elite talent, but you should just call it straight up like you do the rest of the game. I firmly believe that.
So you think the comments that Tortorella brings up, he shouldn't say just shut up. You take the approach in the standpoint of the NHL should change how they call playoff hockey. Is that correct?
Yeah, they should call it like they do in the regular season. What's a penalty during the regular season should be a penalty in the playoffs, because what it does is it hurts the more talented teams. lesser talented teams are able to go further in the playoffs because you're letting them clutch and grab and trip, and hold and interfere, where you don't let that go in the regular season. I've always been a proponent of that. Just call it the same way. If you're going to let it go all during the regular season, I'm fine letting it go in the playoffs. If you're going to call it during the regular season, you don't let it go in the playoffs. That's been a common refrain from a lot of people for a long time. And what Tortorella was saying about just shut up, officials are people too. They don't want to hear you in their ears. Matt Barzal was having a backlash against him for a while when he was chirping, when he was being hauled down and tripped often and interfered with. And what did they do? They call every little thing on him and let everything go against him. Again, officials are people too. They don't like to be critiqued. They think they're doing the best job they can, and that's what you get. That's why he's saying if he just keeps his mouth shut, maybe he'll get those calls.
I'm sorry, right? But what you just had mentioned, they see a blatant and obvious trip. They don't call it because, we can't send him to the box. We can't possibly call 10 penalties a game against the opponent, right? The guy moves so quick. He's always getting hooked. He's always getting slashed. He's always getting tripped. We can't possibly give the Edmonton Oilers 10 power plays a game. I'm sorry. If I'm seeing a penalty, I don't care if it's a 2-0 game and we've already given the Oilers 3 power plays. We can't give them another one. We know for a fact that's how the NHL referees do it. Remember Tim Pool last year who said, I was trying to find, something to give him a penalty on since we gave that one penalty earlier on. They always are looking for makeup calls and to try to even out calls. And that approach is so bullshit. I'm sorry.
I agree with it. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just telling you, there were 2 different points. I think they should call all those penalties. And the refereeing should be the same in the playoffs as it is in the regular season. It should not be different. But he should just keep his mouth shut. When I say that, I'm like, dude, don't piss off the refs because they do have that ultimate power. I mean, just say, hey, you kind of missed that one. But to get in the guy's face like it's a mistake. It's a mistake. Nothing good is going to come of it. That's all I'm going to say.
Here's the thing. If you make it vocal enough, you're the best damn player in the league. If you make it vocal enough and say, Johnny Two Shoes over here has been not calling anything. You could pull up compilations left and right. He needs to do better at his job. I don't care what I get fined. What the NHL is putting out there and what the referees are propagating is a detriment to the sport. You know what would happen? They'll fine you. But you know what happens? You get the freaking calls you deserve. And guess what? If you don't, then you still point it out. Hey, man, I don't know. Here's the thing. You're a generational talent. You're the best damn player there is. And if you're getting slashed, hooked, abused out there on the ice and they're not calling anything in the playoffs, I wouldn't be quiet about it either.
Yeah, but how much money are you willing to give up for that? How much money? Because you'll get fined.
Here's the thing, right? I'm not sitting there. I'm not losing the money. So, I'm sitting here on I'm sitting here on my pedestal saying whatever I want. But in honesty, if it's hit me in the pocket, probably a little differently. But hey, that guy probably makes a lot there in endorsements and everything like that. I don't know his financial situation. I don't know the lifestyle he lives. I don't know how much money I'd be willing to risk for that, though. I like the point, though, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to. Maybe you have your GM or your owner say something because if the coach does it, that's $250,000 fine, right? I mean, is it worth it? Is it worth it?
What are they going to find a player as? What are they going to find a player for?
I don't know, but they could find them anything they want. $100,000, they can do anything. Questioning the integrity of the referees.
Here's the thing, and once they find that, you know what? You just flip it on them and say, you know what? This league is worried so much about their perception. They're willing to fine me instead of fixing the issue with the corrupt referee. Boom, boom. Take another 200. Dude, I'll tell you one thing. Fans would love Connor McDavid. They'd love him because everybody sees it with their eyes. Everybody sees it. And you know what? When they don't hear anything being called out for what they see as a blatant and obvious issue, they think to themselves, is everybody just bought? Is everybody bought and paid for? If they saw a guy of a generational talent come out there and speak exactly what everybody saw, he would be a hero. He would go down as one of the most favorite generational talents there are. I'm telling you, he would.
You realize Mario Lemieux did that, right?
Everybody loves Mario. I loved Mario.
That's why he quit the game. It's one of the reasons why he quit the game for a while. Because he couldn't deal with that anymore. All the hooking, the interference, the slashing, all that stuff that went on just regularly back in the day. Regularly.
Warzone Senior Citizen said, fire Trotz, hire Quinville.
This organization will never hire Joel Quinville. Never. Never. Never freaking ever.
I agree. They wouldn't. I don't think they want anything to do with Joe Quinville. Somebody will hire Joe Quinville probably next year. He will get another chance because he is a supreme talent. And
you have to go to the league first. You have to go to the league first. See, that's what Bettman said. Well, you got to go to the league. See, what I would do if I'm a player, they're busy finding me. They can't even keep perverts out of the locker room. That's what throw that shit right in their face. See how they like it. They wouldn't like that.
I was about to say, there you go.
See, you got to be willing to really fight fire with fire. You got to go. Oh, if you're doing that, you're going to the mat. You're going to the mattresses right there.
Oh yeah, I tell you, that's a good one. I like that one. I like that one. I tell you one thing, they would have a freaking personal vendetta against you till the end of time, though, if you were to say shit like that.
Gary Bettman, where were you when Mr. Video Room was sexually assaulting players of the Chicago Blackhawks? Where were you? Where was your whole organization? Where was the player reps?
Why
worried about me commenting on your officiating?
Why did your player rep know about that? And here I am getting fined $250,000. How much has a Chicago Blackhawks organization been fined for this entire mishandling? Can I ask you that, Gary Bettman? I'm being fined $250,000. How much is the Chicago Blackhawks organization being fined for this entire catastrophe and blunder that's put a black smear on the good name of the NHL? You know, it looks like we've got our priorities kind of mixed up. And Gary Bettman goes out there, dude. That's 100% right, dude. You could. Ooh, Grumpy!
I'll tell you, you have to be willing. You have to be willing to go to the mattresses, though. That's the whole thing. And I'd say, hey, Gary Bettman, Captain Cover Up. I said, what? Now you want to cover up what happens? What about the officials who do makeup calls? You want to keep that covered up too?
Well, he
like
lost.
He did with sexual assault in the locker room.
Oh,
now you pretend like you care about Kyle Beach. You could care less about Kyle Beach. You don't care about me. You don't care. What happens if I get tripped and I go on the board and break my legs? That's okay for you because I came here to criticize the referees.
I like it, Grump. I like the thought. And I've got one more thing. We're going to talk a little baseball, and then we're going to get to a fan favorite fan fight segment. And Grump, there's a common theme that we're going to bring up during the fan fight segment that I think you'll notice pretty quick. Now, I want to show you this. The Mets, talking about the Mets trying to make some big offseason splash. Why Max Scherzer is a better fit than Justin Verlander? Obviously, because Justin Verlander's got that qualifying offer. But it seems like the Mets are somewhat interested in Scherzer. And here's the thing, right? The Mets can't go after anybody, in my opinion, they can't go after anybody with a qualifying offer because you, by rule, lose your second pick in that year's draft. And because the Mets had the compensation pick, because of Kamar Rocker, with him not signing, they've got the 11th overall pick and the 14th overall pick in this year's upcoming MLB select draft. So there's no way in hell they're going to be surrendering the 14th overall selection for a vet like Justin Verlander, who's got that qualifying offer the Astros made for $18.4 million.
Why are they looking at 37-year-old pitchers? They don't even have a general manager yet. They don't even have a general manager. You're hearing things. They still want David Stearns from Milwaukee, and he'll be out of contract next year because they've been denied 2 years in a row to interview him. And why would any general manager want to go, or somebody who wants to be a general manager, go to the Mets if they're openly looking at Stearns for, next year? I mean, who's going to take that job? Sandy Alderson, his son, Fredo Alderson, he's the assistant GM. Boy, what does that sound familiar, doesn't it? I mean, the nepotism in some of these New York front offices is unbelievable, honestly.
I tell you, it is. It's something else. And the Mets, you're right. If they're openly opining the saying, hey, and they're openly, politicking, say, hey, we want David Stearns. We just haven't had the ability to get him there from Milwaukee, but that's the guy we're going after. No real manager is ever going to say, yeah, let me go ahead and go in there when I know that in reality I've got a 1-year trial period to go ahead and try to make my case to be rehired after I'm then fired this offseason.
And they got rid of Scott. I forgot his first name. He got a DUI, right? Or a DWI.
You're talking about Zach. I think his name is Zach.
Zach Scott, right? And he had done a good job. They thought he was the interim GM. They thought about giving him the job. All of a sudden, Alderson wanted to make him the full-time GM, but the new owner, Cohen, didn't want to do it. He's like, well, it's a bad look. He's more concerned how things look as opposed to what they do on the field, right? Okay, guess what? You're an owner. Keep your mouth shut. Let the baseball people run the team. The Mets are in trouble when he's inserting himself and say, well, I don't like the look. And Scott was pissed. He's like, you're lumping me in with guys who are sexually assaulting people when, a DUI is a totally different thing. I mean, I can understand, Scott's point of view, to be honest with you. But I'm looking at Cohen. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? No one wants to be part of your organization. That's a problem. You've owned the team for less than a year, and no one wants to go there to run your team. That's a problem for you.
Alexander also saying the NHL fined Chicago $2 million for the incident. Here's the thing. Only a $2 million fine for that incident. Think about that.
Well, that's a lot of money for me and you, but for an organization like that, it's not. I
was about to say, think about that. For an individual, if they're going to give them a $250,000 fine, they're going to fine an organization that, again, you look at the profit margins, those things are banging out. I mean, $2 million, that's fine. They're still running a profit, no problem about it. I'll tell you. John P. said, hey, guys, just got home. Hey, grumpy old man, damn nice shirt. LOL.
That's right, John. I gave you props earlier. Look at him. I mean, I know he usually is showing off how smart he is. Now he's just showing off how good looking he is. See?
There it is. He's got that professional picture, that for certain. But I think, the main point I wanted to bring away from this, the Mets, they are not going to be offering or making any type of offer to a guy who's got a qualifying offer. They do not want to have to give up the 14th overall selection or 14th overall pick in this year's upcoming draft. That's for certain, amateur draft. But Grump, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about the Yankees offseason, Grumpy.
Yeah, well, just one quick thing about the Mets. It's like, I hate when the Mets try to play like they're a small market team. It just drives me absolutely crazy. They think like, they're 8 miles from where the Yankees are, but the Yankees, they're a big market team and we're not. What are you, crazy? I mean, I've always hated when the Wilpons played it cheap, going way back when Payton owned the team. They've just always been a cheap organization. It drives me crazy. Honestly, it does. Stop pretending like you're a small market team, Mitch. You're not.
Talking about the Yankees, though, Grom.
Yeah, the Yankees are looking for a shortstop, and this is the year of the shortstop in free agency, right? You have Carlos Correa, Corey Seager, Marcus Seaman, Baez, who's with the Mets, and somebody else pretty good. And they're all available. And I was looking at, and Trevor Story is another one. I don't know what Trevor Story's numbers are away from Coors Field, but I know he's better than Carlos Correa. And they're saying Correa is going to get maybe a 10-year deal, $30 million a year. Is he that good a player? I don't think so.
Well, his WAR, his wins above replacement are 6.6, higher than any other shortstop in the league. Grump.
What does that even mean? It's so stupid. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It means nothing. It means nothing to me.
Let's get back to your points, though, Grump, about the Yankees. Don't worry. I'll pull up the Trevor Story. That's my job. You keep on.
I think Story is not a great road guy. Okay. But that said, I'm just not a fan of Correa at all. I think Simeon's 31 years old. He really came into his own last year. You always got to worry about guys in contract years who put up career seasons. And who's on Corey Seager, until he got hurt, he'd be the guy I would have went after, honestly. He's played in a big market before. He shouldn't be bothered by the bright lights of New York City. That's the guy I go after. I'm just not a fan of Carlos Correa. That's all. But it'd be interesting.
Carlos Correa puts up good numbers. I don't know why you have an issue with that.
I just don't. I think in the big moment, he's not a big game player. That's all. And he's hurt a lot. Always hurt.
Well, you talk about Seager. Now, Seager, I think he might extend.
He's a free agent, though. So, they can go after anybody. He's free. He might sign back with the Dodgers, but he's a free agent. You give him a blowaway offer. Why not him?
Since being the first to make wipers over a century ago, Trico has protected dry.
I don't know what your wipers.
I apologize, Grump. I'm trying to pull up the stats so I could do it. I could get this, but it keeps on trying to pull these damn videos that I don't want. I apologize. Give me one second.
But Corey Seager would be the guy that I go after. I'm just not a Carlos Correa fan. I'm just not. I think Seager is a better talent than Correa. It enables you to slide Torres over to second base. It makes a more well-rounded team. He's a guy who puts the ball in play too, which is something the Yankees don't have. I mean, they really missed, people ripping Didi Gregorius when he was there. All I know is he really produced for the Yankees, and they kind of let him go. Philadelphia signed him for not that big a deal. The Yankees could have easily re-signed him, and I think it hurt them this offseason. Really did.
Carlos Correa is the youngest out of the bunch too. So, I know you mentioned that. Oh, I think he's good defensively as well. But I know you mentioned, Grump, you wanted to talk a little bit about how the Yankees are taking the approach of they don't mind being above the luxury tax. Grump, this is your team. I shouldn't have to be signaling you. You should remember these items that you wanted to talk about, Grump. I'm giving you the ball here. I want you to run with it, my man.
Yeah, I don't. The luxury tax doesn't bother me at all. I could care less if they go over luxury tax. For me, I want the best player. I've always been like that, best player. And Corey Seager, he's 28. Correa's 27, Seager's 28. There's not much difference there. I like Seager better as a player. That's all. He's a clutch guy. He's the guy I want. I'm not a fan of Carlos Correa. I just find it unbelievable somebody would pay him $30 million a year. That was the offer that Houston made him. They offered him 5 years for $30 million per. And I'm like, I'd let him go for that. He's gonna want a 10-year deal.
All I'm saying is he's starting to hit for a little bit of power, and he's coming off of a pretty good season. What was he, an all-star, I think, last year too? I'm just telling you, he's starting to hit for some power. They like the power numbers coming along. Doesn't shock me at all that he's going to get paid as a younger individual entering that first big contract he could really get.
Yeah, I just think Corey Seager's better. I just think he's a better overall player. I don't even think it's close. I'm not a fan of Carlos Correa. Just not.
So that's all you wanted to talk about with the Yankees?
Yeah, I want Corey Seager on my team.
Okay. Corey Schneider? You mean Carl?
No.
You just said Corey Schneider.
Seager, not Schneider, Seager.
Maybe I misheard you. John P. saying, yeah, Cohen's the richest owner in the MLB.
They play like they're poor.
As they're all saying, yeah, Correa's got a lot of power. Meatball Parm saying the Islanders are not beating this Rangers team.
I watched a little bit of this game earlier. They're playing the Devils tonight. The Rangers are going to be a problem this year. Much to my chagrin, they're going to be a problem for us. A real problem.
I wanted to also talk about this. Now, thanks, Alexander, for sending this here our way. You talk about these hideous roughing the passer calls. Now, this is one, Grumpy, that was called, and I'm no Saints fan, but I could admit that this is a bad call against the Saints here. They wound up giving him a first down, and this is a pass to which Ryan Tannehill threw a pick. So we have no idea if it could have maybe changed the outcome of the game. That being said, the Saints kicker missed 2 extra points today too, and they had to go for a 2-point conversion down at the end to try to go ahead and bring them closer. But I tell you, I'll let you watch the clip, Grumpy. I think it's another one of these egregious penalty calls where the referees think that they've got, the show, it's about me, not about the players. And
let me ask you a question. I see the guy, I don't know his number, looks like he's got the inside track. That guy who's trying to block him looks a little bit like you.
Oh, funny. Gotcha. That was a 15-yard roughing the passer penalty.
He hit him in the head. Cannot hit him in the head. Cannot hit the guy in the head. You can't do it. He hit him in the head.
Oh, sorry. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous.
I understand. And I'm not saying that should be a penalty. That's the rule. You cannot hit the quarterback in the head. You cannot do it. I'm sorry. You know the rule. You cannot hit the guy in the head. First of all, he hit him at the head with his hand first and then hits him with the helmet as well. You get what you get, New Orleans. That's why you're a game and a half behind the Buccaneers.
Sounds like you are making this statement just because you're a Buccaneers fan. You're happy that didn't go their way.
No. Here's the thing. You can't do it. You cannot hit the quarterback in the head. You can't do it. We see it every week. That's been the rule for a long time. You cannot hit the quarterback in the head any way, shape, or form. You know that. They know this. They know. This is not like the first week that the rule's been in effect.
I just think it's another bullshit call, Grump. I just think that it's Charmin soft. And here's the thing. I've said it before and I'll say it again, man. We need some more toughness back in the sport.
I don't disagree. I do not disagree. And I do think that that's not roughing the passer. That said, you know the rule. You cannot hit the quarterback in the head. You can't do it.
I want to show you now. We got some fan fights, and you're going to notice the recurring trend I have here with the fan fights. Both of these are going to be featuring people from the Los Angeles Rams. People from the Los Angeles Rams organization or fan base. Alexander saying typical Grump. I'm about to say Grumpy sounds like he could be. You know when they bring on Gene Steratore, like Gene, tell me why that was a penalty. Absolutely. What we saw right there was a brutal attack and on front of the quarterback, reckless abandonment by the defensive player, and I think that flag was 100% justified. That's what you sound like. You sound like Gene Steratore.
That's not true.
They told him out there every single time. They say, "Hey, Gene, I need you to go ahead and agree with whatever happened out there on the field." And you agree with what happens on the field about 95% of the time.
First of all, that's not true. First of all, you know better than that. But here's the thing. I would have said, how stupid is that defensive end? You know you can't hit the guy in the head. Why are you hitting me in the head? That's just dumb. Just dumb.
John P. said Charmin soft. You know what's funny? One of the members of the Islanders cartel media started using the phrase Charmin soft in a few articles they were writing. And I think to myself, when they use that phrase, I've been using Charmin soft for. And again, I will say this. It's not like it's a brand new phrase. It's not like something I invented. It's been around for a long time. But I use Charmin soft an awful lot. But it happened to be after one individual started listening to our content, they started to use the verbiage of Charmin soft. And I did find that it's pretty odd and funny. But we're not going to talk too much.
I'm not surprised.
They
don't have a creative bone in their body, so they have to listen to our podcast to pretend like they have some type of
Alexander's saying greatest movie of all time, Old School is on. And what a film saying again, the quarterback should wear a flag, take he's down. It was a brutal call. No surprise. The refs are ruining the NFL. He tapped him on the head with his hand. The refs ruin the game. For certain they do.
I'm 100% in agreement, but that's the rule. Change the rule. I have no problem with them changing the rule. Change the rule. Until the rule is changed, that's the rule. Yes, they should change the rule. I think they should be allowed to kill quarterbacks out there. I would love the day where Joe Turkey Jones gives a suplex to Terry Bradshaw and drops him right on top of his head. And I think the ref, he held it. I guess it's a penalty, and he finally threw the flag.
So here's what we're going to be showing you, Grump. Now, this is another one of those items where they're filming in freaking portrait mode instead of landscape, which is one of the 7 deadly sins. Now, this is a fight between Los Angeles Rams fans and Tennessee Titans fans. Now, this was from last week, the game where the Titans won, right? And this is the time period where I was shocked. I was shocked the Titans won this game. But I want you to show this. These are the Rams fans. I want you to watch this. As I'm sure you could see, it says ends in 2 KOs. But I'll let you. Oh.
What the hell? This is Tyson's brother? Who is this guy up there? And he leaves. Small move, Chief.
I'll tell you one thing. It always seems like it's the Rams fans that just seem to be getting in these issues in these fights. So this one here, Grumpy, I'll slow it down so we can really watch this one. Now, here's the thing. I always wonder what causes these fights. But this, oh man, oh man. And here's the odd part about it, right? So I want to go back. So this guy is we'll see here later, the guy who's leaving with his friend. They look. Oh, is that just a retro Rams jersey? The white. Oh, that's okay. I was thinking that's a Colts jersey, dude.
That's a Lawrence McCutcheon. Is that a Lawrence McCutcheon jersey?
No, Laniero.
What is it? No.
47 Laniero. So I think this is just
Okay, it's not Laniero. I can't read it, but I guarantee you it's not Laniero.
I think it's a fan who just wrote his name on the back of a jersey. Grump is what I think it is. Okay. It's Liniero.
Okay.
So I'm watching it. I've got good view. So he's the one. Oh man, Tennessee Titans fan takes a tumble there as he gets pummeled, and he is knocked the hell out. And now this is the guy. They're part of that tag team. And I'll tell you, oh geez, Louise, he knocks him out, and then
He stepped on his head.
You know what it reminds me of? Let's go back to this.
Talk about insult to injury.
Number 47, Laniero. It reminds me of Marcus Vick. Oh, because he certainly did not have to. He certainly did not have to stomp on this individual's head as he got knocked out. Oh man, I feel bad for those guys. Jeez Louise, but here they are. Hey,
they were smart.
Go, Rams fans, let's leave.
They bailed.
Go ahead and escape the scene of the crime.
Well,
I wonder if they get caught or they got any type of punishment.
I'm going to bet that they got popped for that in after the fact. He's still leaving and talking shit. That Tyson, I mean, 2 one-punch knockouts. That guy's got some right. That's all I got to say. He drops that one guy like a bad habit and the other one like a sack of potatoes.
We'll go back to it.
Boom! Down he goes. I mean, of course, he's being restrained. Boom. That's solid, man. That's straight. Man, that's a nice short right there. Down he goes. Oh. Down goes Frazier.
This guy right here, his partner, number 47, did so little, but also try to.
I think he knocked his
over him, trying to step on him and stomp on him like that. Oh.
All right. I'm going to say I'm not even that. Those are certainly KOs. I'm not even saying decision. Those are, 2 one-punch knockouts. 2 one-punch knockouts.
Dude,
look at Tyson. And look at Tyson. He's standing there. It's like, I've been throwing punches my whole life. Who's next?
John P. said, stupid drunk fans, ban them for life and get them when they get out of jail. I was about to say,
guys should absolutely. They should not be allowed to go to games again. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing, though. I've always said this. It's like when they ban somebody for life, it doesn't really mean anything. They could go buy scalp tickets. They could go get tickets as a gift that, it's unfortunate, right? It's just one of those things that, hey, they're going to ban you for life. But if you really want to get in, there's no way they can stop you.
Here's what's going to happen. Somebody's going to roll on Laniero there, and he's going to roll on Tyson. So they're going to get popped. I guarantee. For him stepping on the head of that guy, I mean, look at him. He's like dead.
I was going to say, knocked out like that. I tell you, at least if they agree with mutual combat and they get a few blows going each way, but this one was just, it's hard. I don't like watching a bloodbath. I like there to be a little bit of like fighting competency on both sides if they're going to agree to mutual combat. But I always wonder, what the hell starts a fight? I always feel like it's got to be one of a few things. There has to always be some sort of alcohol involved. And the fights where fans from the same fan base fight each other are always the ones that baffle me. At least this one wasn't the same fan base. At least maybe they're like, hey, your Los Angeles Rams suck ass. I told you the Tennessee Titans would win. And a guy's drinking, it's like, screw you, and tries to throw a punch at him. But
the second guy was wearing an Aaron Donald jersey. What are you talking about? That's an Aaron Donald jersey. The first guy was wearing a Henry jersey, but that's Aaron Donald jersey right there.
Maybe he's wearing a Donald jersey. Oh God. So maybe this is it, Grump. I didn't even catch that. I just thought it was a different number 99, but yeah, I think you're right there with the color scheme. That is true. So you know what that probably actually means, Grumpy? That probably means that these two individuals who are knocking people out were doing some nonsense, some crazy nonsense to where these two individuals united from opposite teams to try to stop them from pounding the hell out of somebody else. And you do see a Dolphins fan back here who's videotaping and recording that. It looks like with a 77 jersey on. Maybe is that Jake Long jersey?
I can't even see that far.
I'll tell you.
But this guy can throw rights. He's not fooling around when he's throwing a punch.
No,
you don't see him with a wide swinging, pants falling off, wild, none of that stuff, man. That was boom. One shot. Poor Donald and poor Henry. I mean, Derrick Henry gets a broken foot the week before. The next guy gets knocked unconscious. Don't wear a Derrick Henry jersey. Sounds like it's trouble.
I tell you, it is. It's something else, Grump. I hate to see that. Yeah, 99's a Rams fan. Yeah, 99 got knocked out. Was trying to stop Tyson initially. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he got destroyed. Now I would say
understand they do ban the fan. See, just not true. Well, here's the thing: if they ban the fan, if they say, "Hey, you're not allowed to come back in here," they don't check IDs for games. You just come in with a ticket. They scan it. You're good to go. I could get my wife to buy a ticket. I can get my friend to buy a ticket, and he just hands it to me, and I pay him in cash.
and I think your wife would probably want to buy you a ticket so you wouldn't be at home bothering her.
I can only imagine how much of a nuisance they are if they're going out there getting in fights with random people in the stands.
I would say that if I went to a game with my sons and their friends and something like that started, I wouldn't be like TJ. Nothing to see here. Don't worry. Not going to worry about that. And if somebody hit my kid, I would have jumped all over his ass. I would scratch. I would have. Oh man, I'm sorry. Don't mess with mine. That's all I'm saying.
Now, this is what it reminds me of. It reminds me of Marcus Vick back from Virginia Tech. I'll let you watch this, Grump. This is what that stomp reminds me of. He gets tackled here by a guy from West Virginia, and I want you to watch this right here.
There's the taunting. Should have just flagged him.
Oh, is this the wrong play? Come on now. Oh man, I'm thinking of the wrong one where he got up and he stomped on somebody. Oh,
that's why you don't have. That's why you don't let them taunt. That's why you don't do it.
Oh,
right there.
I pulled the wrong one up, Grumpy. I apologize, but now I'll try to get it pulled up here in a second. But yeah, it was an odd one to where he had stepped and stomped on somebody. That's the only thing that it reminded me of when that guy was walking up the stairs and stomped on that guy who was passed out. Was Marcus Vick stomping on somebody? Now we're going back for the Wayback Machine. I'm sorry that the video quality is awful. This is where he gets tackled. Oh, I don't know if you saw that, Grump.
I did see it. Inappropriate.
All it remind me of this type of stomp right here by Marcus Vick. Boom. He was suspended after that stomp, needless to say.
Deservedly so.
Meatball Parm says Robert Saleh looks in over his head.
Some days he does, some days he doesn't. It's the culture. He has to change the culture there first. Number one thing with the Jets, got to change the culture. You knew Buffalo was going to come out playing hard today after losing to Jacksonville. You knew it.
Alexander said they take your picture before you leave and then they save it. But I've been to a few games. I don't go to games all that often, but I don't think they run a face image of your face. They don't run a face image before when you're coming in. There's it's a massive. There's mobs of individuals trying to squeeze in all at the same time. They'll just boop onto the next one, boop onto the next one. So I'm sure if you're banned from a game and something like that happens again, where you happen to cause mischief and they already have you in the system as banned, I think that's when they could charge you, or they could bring more legal things forward with you. So I feel like that's kind of like the safe measure of what it is.
Yeah, I just. Stop drinking at games, stop getting belligerent. I don't know who started, but I'm sure that wouldn't have happened if the Rams were beating Tennessee.
Probably not. Now, I want to show you this one. This happens to be, we're going to see more Los Angeles Rams fans mixing it up with Charger fans here in this one. So I think this one's a little bit from the past. But again, this is another situation where it's the Rams fans are guys you don't want to mess around with. So I guess the big takeaway from this is if you're in Los Angeles and you're watching a Rams game, you don't want to mix it up with their fan base. They don't seem to mess around.
I think a lot of problems in Los Angeles.
Well, here we go. This is in the bathroom.
Dude, why is nobody throwing punches back at this guy? You're just letting him throw punches. Jump his ass. Kick the shit out of him. Come on.
It's in the bathroom.
You're going to let a guy throw. You're just going to stand there
Here's the thing. Most people don't want to get into a fight as they got to take a leak. So
somebody throws a punch, man. I'm going after him.
Okay.
Even at my age, I'm not taking shots.
Let's keep watching, huh?
World Star.
World Star. I heard it.
Oh, yeah. Always. Is it ever a fight video with that World Star? Okay, so here we go. We see other individuals ripping their jerseys off, so I guess they're ready to fight as well. But I'll let you. Holy hell. Hold on a second. I've got to figure out what's going on because this one's really baffling to me. So this guy right here he's got the big hat on. This one's obviously odd. So this is how it starts. This guy's got a over the shoulder carrying bag. He does not look like he's got his hands up and he takes one right to the face. We got to put this in slow motion. I'm going to turn the volume off, but he looks like he takes one right to the face. He takes one right to the face, not his hands up, and then Mr. Bosa takes another one to the face. Not a. You can tell this guy.
Look at this guy. Look at Fifi take blows. At least he threw a couple back.
Here we go. Here we go. This guy right here is not fighting originally. He's the one like, hey, let's stop this violence. Let's go away. Please leave.
Like the guy. He looks like the guy who used to be at ECW Arena, the bingo hall in Philadelphia back in the 90s. Always sitting in the front row with a Hawaiian shirt on and a hat just like that. Mr. ECW.
Alexander, you sent the first one that we had showed. That was the one of the fan fight for certain. But now this one was one I just randomly found online. But so this guy, the hat is the big straw hat's the one that confuses me. So he looks like he's trying to diffuse the situation.
His name is ECW, by the way.
Now this guy right here, ECW, this guy's going to pick up his hat, and now his mask is kind of towards the ground. Mr. Keenan Allen, he puts his hat back on his head. Mr. Straw Hat. I don't know what
his name is ECW.
ECW over here. He's coming. What?
No! Again, I think he had a hatred for that hat.
What the hell? Well, I'm just confused. He wasn't throwing any punches. Everything looks like it was settled. This guy he's gotten his ass rocked by the first guy. And now ECW, you're right. It's like he takes a run to this punch. He takes a running punch. He goes from one stall to the other. He's like, hold on a second, guys. I really have to get some momentum in this punch. Dun, da, da, da. He's got to run into it. Cold cocks the guy, where even the guy who's initially fighting him is like, holy shit, he was thrown off guard by this punch. I don't get what the hell Mr. Straw Hat's doing over here.
His name is ECW, first of all.
ECW. I'm sorry. I keep messing it up. ECW, Grump.
And he hits Fifi and knocks Fifi's hat off. I think he had a hatred for Fifi's hat.
Oh, Alexander, you just literally sent this one too. I did not know you sent this one as well, but this is one I had prepped there before. But so he knocks the hell out of this guy and he keeps punching at him.
I'll tell you what, Fifi's got some staying power though. Oh, now he's throwing punch back at the other guy.
It's like he's punching up a weight class or two, needless to say.
If you're wearing a mask, you deserve to get the shit kicked out of you.
Stop.
I'm sorry. Oh, it's not a mask. He's got a beard. He deserves to get the shit kicked out of him.
What are you talking about?
This guy who Mr. ECW has a big old woolly beard like Roberto Duran had in the first fight against Sugar Ray Leonard. I mean, and his Fifi just talking to him. Dude, you just took a punch.
He's taking a few punches.
I mean, you got chop his leg.
Now we're pointing at Mr. Bosa. This is the guy I really want to beat the hell out of.
Oh, my God.
So here we go.
Look at this.
I don't know how the hell we're getting ganged up on over here, but these individuals, this guy right here, he's getting ready to fight. He's like, oh, yeah, let's go. He's moving his arms. Both of these guys are getting ready to join in on him. And he's like, hold on a second. He realized, oh, we're being videotaped. Now, this guy, Mr. Earrings over here, realized we're getting videotaped. Oh, let's stop. Let's not fight. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'll tell you, geez Louise, don't mess with the Rams fans. That's quite obvious. And this guy, Mr. ECW, have no idea what the hell he's doing.
Oh, I don't know. Oh my gosh, look at this.
Oh my God, it looked like he got knocked again. He got punched again.
Oh man, Fifi. Great. At least I'm going to give Fifi some credit. He can take a hell of a punch, and he's not afraid to throw back. He's got no skills. He's what they call the bum of the month, right? He's just there to get beat up.
Oh man, he seriously, yeah, right, Alexander. He went full on Superman punch. Couldn't tell you what happened, John. I'll have to check that URL. StreamYard doesn't allow me just to pull the URL as conveniently as I'd like to. Wow. We'll have to check that fight, and that'll probably be featured on next week. I see Rams fight over Video Charger. Oh God, another Rams against the Chargers fight. Oh goodness gracious.
Well, they both share the same stadium.
Meatball Parm says Rangers win again.
I mean, they look good. What I saw today.
John P said, "You can't win when you turn over the ball 5 times. Period. I don't care if Lombardi's the coach."
True that.
Oh yeah, John P also saying, "Yeah, it was the same game in the stands, I believe." Oh my God, how many? Jeez,
this is great stuff. I love fan fights. I like it. Actually, I like it best when you see
I have to have some story. I have to have a little bit of story and background. I just don't want to see like the first one where I just see two individuals I see mid-fight just get knocked out, and the guy trying to Marcus Vick stomp a person's, curb stomp a person's head in. I don't like that. I have to see a little bit beforehand. I don't want to see anybody get seriously injured. I don't like knockouts really. A little bit of a punch back and forth, and everybody goes home happy, whatever. They blow off some steam.
Well, I'll tell you what, this guy has taken over the number one rankings over Corona Boy, as far as I'm concerned. Tyson has taken over for Corona Boy. Corona Boy is a strong number 2, but Tyson is number 1. 2 one-punch knockouts in the same fight. That's pretty incredible. I mean, he knows how to throw a punch.
Brutal sucker punch. I tell you, he it's like he crow hopped. I'll use a baseball term. He crow hopped into that punch.
Boom. Yeah. But ECW could not knock Fifi out. And Fifi didn't even go down either one of those punches. He could take a punch. I'm going to give Fifi some credit. He can't fight worth a damn, but he's not afraid to throw punches as best he can. But, man, he can take a punch. I just think his hat was somehow involved in that they didn't like his hat. They kept knocking it off his head.
The straw hat was what I was so shocked about, Grump. I was just
I thought ECW was wearing like one of those masks like from what the heck, the Batman, like who's the guy in the last Batman movie?
Bane?
Yes, Bane. He looked like he was wearing a Bane mask. Didn't it look like he was wearing a Bane mask?
Oh man.
It was just his beard.
Hold on a second, John P. I got it pulled up. I've got oh my John P. Jeez Louise. I don't know what you just sent me, but this is one of those ones where it's good gracious.
All right, you're gonna let the rest of the audience in on it or not?
John P. I got it. John P. said strong chin for sure. So this one we tune in and we get tuned in quite late. You're going to see here, number 9, he's got his hands up in celebration of some sort. You could see that there's a massive ball of humanity. People already have somebody on the ground. It looks like they're pummeling the hell out of him. I'll just let you watch this one. I don't think this is much of a fight. I just think this is like this is just like a brutal ass kicking. It's not much of a fight going each way. I'll let you watch it. There's one guy who's getting punched to damn.
There's some beer getting thrown.
And he's a Rams fan. You see guys wearing Jared Goff jerseys. So I don't know. They're probably fighting a Chargers fan. I tell you, these Rams fans, you do not mess with a Rams fan. I know if I ever go to a game in Los Angeles, I do not mess with a Rams fan. It's kind of like the Eagles of old. It's like the Eagles, right? The Eagles fans get their shirts torn off them, beating the hell out of people with batteries, everything like that. And the fans just letting them, clapping them off as they pummel another opposing team's fan. You do not, don't go to the Rams games.
It's like a Donnybrook. It's like a Pier 6 brawl.
Oh my God! Look
at it. The mess, the humanity.
Usually, you've got the upper hand if you're fighting with the height advantage or the ground or the high ground. Oh my God! Hold on. This guy, I've got to rewind it. That was the guy who was getting pummeled, and he got up, and Mr. Yellow Shirt still wanted to pummel the hell out of him. What the hell? I got. Oh, hold on. This is the other fight. Do you remember this hat lady? She started this fight by throwing the beer on him. Yes. This is from the other angle.
Yes.
Holy shit, that's right. This lady threw the beer on him, and that's what started the fight. Oh, my God. This is the other angle and the extended clip. Whoever figured we need the extended motion. That's right. Now, this all makes sense. She started this fight by throwing the beer on him, and this guy got upset and then started throwing a punch. That's right. Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh man, Grump. This is. I tell you one thing. When the Chargers and the Rams play, jeez, Louise.
Oh, the guy tried to escape. His only escape.
His body is red from the physical abuse that he took.
Oh, he ripped his shirt off. He's trying to Hulk up.
Oh my God.
Randy lay there like a slug. It was his only defense. Don't come into our section again. Where's security?
Jesus, I have no idea where it's. Well, hold on. It looks, I have no idea where security is. I'll tell you one thing, though. It's like the other place when we saw security last week. Oh, this lady right here is a part of security. She's got like something in the back. She's like, hey, let's calm down, guys. Yeah, I think she's a part of like the seats. Like she escorts people to their seats, but I have no idea where is. The thing about it, it's been about a good solid 2 minutes to pummel the hell out of somebody, and these are good seats too. These are right on the action.
Yeah.
Who the hell is security?
They cost some money. Look at them talking back and forth. Oh my God.
I would not, if I just my ass pummel. Here we go. Here's security. Here's security. Here's Apex security waddling the way on down.
Listen to me. Listen to me now. This is why you throw taunting flags right here. They should start flagging these. Say, okay, now you have to go up to the next section. You've lost these seats. You go to section. If you get 2 of them, you're out. Just like they do. 2 of those taunting flags, you're out of the game. They should do that in fans. That's why you throw the taunting flags, because it would stop all the stuff in the stands.
Meatball Parm said, I can't imagine how many times the grumpy old man visited
Bordy Barn.
The Bordy Barn back in the day.
A long time ago. Is it even there anymore? I don't even know.
What a film said, back in the day, fans stopped going to the Oakland Raider games because they were afraid gang members took over. Rappers and anybody who thought they were cool, they were wearing Raiders jerseys and hats.
100% true. 100% true.
Yeah, goodness gracious. Man, oh man, Grump. Fan fights. Ooh.
They're the best. I love fan fights. Every night you could have a fan fight.
Man, oh man. Grump, grump, grump. Well,
we got a new champion. We got a new Tyson. Tyson once again back.
Tyson the champion. Let me ask you this, Grump. Before we wrap things up here today, what else do you have to say on the podcast?
I just want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens, and even those who don't, from TJ and the Grumpy Old Man.
And thank you, everybody who tuned in and listened to the podcast. Again, many thanks. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you're a first-time or a new-time listener, I always recommend you subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss out on any of the action. You like on Facebook and follow on Twitter. Again, thank you, everybody who tuned in. We love interacting with you guys, talking sports in a little bit more of a free-range environment than the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. We could just shoot the shit and have a good time. So thank you so much, everybody who tuned in. And thank you again, Grumpy Old Man.
My pleasure.